The gorgeous Tesla Model 3 and the stunning Tesla Model Y. Two near identical looking cars from the Tesla stables, but there is more to it than meets the eye. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Nash from Tesla in the Gong, and this is an all you need to know side by side Model 3 versus Model Y comparison video. A Model Y here in Australia, you may ask? Well, we can't order a Model Y here in Australia at the time of making this video, so I had to rely on this COVID-safe, physically distant method to make this video. My good mate Kaushik, who lives in Canada and who goes by the Twitter handle KKVR2823, was super kind to share his pictures and videos from his Tesla Model Y. There are a fair number of videos out there showing the dimensions of the Model Y. The first video that I watched was fellow Tesla owner and awesome YouTuber Tesla Raj's video. The purpose of this video is, however, to place the measurements next to each other to get an idea as to what is best for you when you're ready to make the purchase. At its widest, the Model Y measures 83.8 inches with an inter-tire distance of 64.8 compared to 82.2 inches and 62.2 inches respectively in the Model 3. So right off the bat, we know that the Model Y is a wider car than the Model 3. We love our sexy beans. Yes, we know that our Teslas are bean-shaped, and when viewed from the rear, the Model Y has some unmistakable design cues borrowed from the Model X. But I must say that this bean-shape makes the rear wheels a massive curb rash magnet. I can speak from experience. My Model X has a fair few of these curb rashes. Model Y is longer by 2 inches as well compared to the Model 3. This is an important metric to consider if you have a tightish garage like me. Maybe you can't park the Model Y in your garage. This is something you need to consider. If you've seen my earlier videos, you'll see that I have a fair amount of trouble parking my Model X in my tight garage. Link to the same in the description. True to its SUV crossover tag, the Model Y is the taller of the two, standing at 64 inches tall compared to 57 inches of Model 3. For taller individuals, having that height adds to the headroom inside the car, particularly for folks sitting in the back seat. I have more metrics coming up, but from what you have seen till now, what do you guys think? Model 3 or Model Y? Leave that in the comments below, and while you're at it, a subscription to the channel is highly appreciated. Did you know you can also hire my Model 3, this same car, ex-Canberra, from ev.com.au. On the driver and passenger side, the tallest height of the door is 40 inches. But I think the dimension that is more important is this height, because this is the height that is available for the driver and passenger to slide into the seats respectively. The tallest available height in the Y is 35 inches, the shortest height being 33 inches. In comparison, the tallest available useful height for sliding in the Model 3 is only 30 inches, the shortest being 25 inches. So the Model 3 may be quite a squeeze for larger individuals. This is something to think about. Now let's look at the driver's side. The maximum height available here for the driver to slide in is 35 inches, but the steering wheel is in the way. So we need to know what this height is, the height between the lower end of the steering wheel to the top of the driver's seat. In the Model Y, with the steering wheel at the highest possible position and the driver's seat at its lowest possible, the height between the two is 10 inches, whereas in the Model 3, it is only 7 inches. Now let's compare the available knee and leg room. In the Model 3, with the front seat pushed back to its furthest position, the knee room is 5 inches or 127 millimeters, which seems a tight fit compared to a more generous 8 inches or about 200 millimeters in the Model Y. With both vehicles having a tapering rear, I'm sure you're wondering about the rear passenger headroom. Friend of the channel Peter Cook, whom I interviewed for an earlier video, was happy to demonstrate the limited rear passenger headroom in his Model 3. Thanks a bunch, Pete. As you can see, Pete is a tall man and he's having trouble squeezing into the rear seat with the driver's seat pushed all the way to the back. And as we pan in, you can see that he's practically crouched sitting there. And these rear seats in the Model 3 will not recline. In comparison, the Model Y has adjustable rear seats with 3 possible angles to choose from. With the rear seat in an upright position, the headroom is still a reasonable 6.5 inches, which does go down with change in angle. Here we have Kaushik's mate Bunsey demonstrating that. Just like Pete in the Model 3 demo, Bunsey is shy over 6 feet in height, but he ain't crouching inside the Model Y. He is sitting comfortably with about a hand height to spare. The added height and the SUV crossover styling is a massive plus in favor of Model Y. Another important number for the rear seat passengers is the recess underneath the driver and passenger seats. With the front seats in its lowest and highest positions, the recess in a Model 3 is only 3.5 inches going up to 5 inches, whereas in the Model Y, they are 7 inches and 9 inches respectively. So looking at the legroom in the rear seat, in addition to the footwell recess, Model Y is the more capacious of the two rear cabin spaces. If you have taller individuals who will often travel in the rear, this is something to consider. Now let's look at storage in both Model 3 and Model Y and see what the key differences between them are. It goes without saying that the Model Y has more storage space given the taller and longer overall dimensions. In the Model 3, the maximum available length of the trunk, or boot as we call it, is 42 inches, and in the Model Y it is 44 inches with the rear seats deployed. Do remember that in both the Model Y and in Model 3, the rear seats can be dropped or folded down to create a flatbed. With the seat dropped down, the Model 3 has a trunk length of 67 inches compared to a Model Y trunk length of 72 inches. At its narrowest dimension, the floor width in the Model 3 is 37 inches, whereas in the Model Y, it is 37.5 inches. But the more important metric is this one. You can see this floor well on the left side in the Model 3. This increases the usable floor width to 52 inches, whereas on the Model Y, there is a floor well on each side, increasing the usable floor width to 58 inches. The side well on the Model 3 measures a height and width of 7 by 5 inches, whereas on the Model Y, it measures 11 by 11.5 inches. Model 3 trunk has a maximal available height of 18 inches, whereas the Y, given its SUV styling, has a cavernous opening of 27 inches. If that was not enough, one can lift the front section of the trunk floor to reveal a well in both the Model 3 and the Model Y. In Model 3, the maximal width, length and depth of this is 27 by 18 by 12 inches, with the Model Y showing a more cavernous 31 by 18 by 18 inches. Now let's look at the front trunk or frunk. I wonder if you can call this the front boot or fruit. Model 3 shows a maximal width of 33 inches with a length of 17 inches and a depth of 10 inches, whereas the Model Y shows a maximal width of 35 inches with the length being 17 and depth being 16 inches respectively. So what does this translate to? In essence, you can get 6 of these luggages into your Model Y, like so. You can drop one carry-on luggage into the well, one carry-on luggage into the frunk, and the rest would go into the trunk, just like this. That's all, folks. These are some of the dimensions that we thought would be useful for people out there who are looking to buy a Model Y or a Model 3. Now, what were the metrics that you were looking for? Did we answer them all in this video? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below and do click on that subscribe button and that bell icon. A massive thank you to my friend Kaushik who sent me these pictures, these videos, and patiently measured them all for you. Thank you to Pete and Bansi for helping as well. Until I see you guys in another interesting video, this is Nash from Tesla and the Gong, signing off. Peace.